Hey, what's up, Cubs fan? Their game got delayed or suspended. Something you don't see in the major leagues a lot. You see it in the minor leagues where they stop a game midway. It's past that fifth inning or it's an extra innings, and then they continue it the next day. That's what happened. I think they can technically count it as a tie, but I always like to see it play out or lose. So yesterday, Cubs pretty good pitcher battle between Hamels and DeGrom, and it was 1-1 in the 10th inning, and then it was raining sideways, and they stopped the game for a little bit for about an hour, and they decided that they're just do it tomorrow and play it right before the scheduled afternoon game. So that's where they picked up on Wednesday, the 29th, 1-1, and ended up going to a second extra inning. Turns out that was the difference, a 2-1 win, and Chavez came in, got the close. So, I mean, overall, Hamels, he got it going with 5 innings. They took him out. He gave runs at that point. Things got a little bit dicey with Kinsler. That guy drive me crazy, but it wasn't all his fault, too, like just kind of some bad luck with ground balls as well. But Hamels set the tone. Offense struggled. Even Murphy, I think, struck out twice, and that's very rare for him. He did get on base 1 hit, and he got robbed of another. Could have been a double. But Cubs scrapped it out. That's kind of what you have to do against DeGrom. Is he pitched 8 innings and only got 1 run off of them, but we kept it tied, got into extra innings of 1, and that's kind of been the bad luck with DeGrom. His ERA is like a 1.7, yet the team is 11-16 with him on the mound. Basically, because they either can't hit or the bullpen blows it more times than not. It's unfortunate to be that great and not have the winning results for it. That's why wins and losses can be very overrated as a pitcher. So that was a positive. We got off to a great start in the series. You're looking, placing Syndergaard, placing DeGrom. We won those first 2 games. The first game was more great hitting against Syndergaard. This game is kind of a grinded out game. We pitched pretty well. Struggled hitting the ball, definitely, but we did enough to win. And then we played the regular game as scheduled, the final game against the Mets. I was kind of worried about this game because Madden wanted to give a lot of guys the day off. He gave Murphy the day off. He gave Baez the day off. Gave Hayward the day off. I mean, Hayward and Murphy, been 2 of the better hitters lately. So he wanted to give guys rest. Sometimes he'll risk sacrificing a game for the long term, keep guys healthy. It's kind of this long-term mindset. We need guys at their best in October. And then we started Mills for the second time. He did great his first time. I don't know what to expect out of him because his ERA was like a 4.7 for Iowa. I mean, that doesn't seem like an ERA that you should be rewarded to be a starting pitcher, but that's kind of where we're at with like Chatwood, and then you have Montgomery hurt and Darvish hurt. You run out of options. The minor league, we need to develop more. Next year, kind of more optimistic because we had 5 pitchers in Tennessee that had ERAs under 4 this year, 5 starters. Our top arm, Adbert, got hurt, so that didn't help. He's in Iowa. So hopefully he comes back and plays to his potential, gives Cubs more backup support when we need him. It's always injuries. But this game, Mills got off to a rough start. He gave up a grand slam in the first inning. He bounced back to pitch 4 scoreless innings, and we scrapped in 1 run on a hap hit at the time. So we were down 4-1. It's definitely doable that we could come back. We need help from the bullpen again and the hitters. And this time, Cubs could only muster 1 run through 8 innings. Caratini hit a 2-run homer in the 9th. It was a little bit too late, but still nice to see the fight there. And our bullpen did even worse than Mills. Mills gave up 4 runs in 5 innings, and the bullpen gave up another 6 runs in the other 4 innings, so that was very disappointing. You had Rosario that gave up 3 runs. You had Kintzler that gave up another run, and he gave up 5 hits, so he's very lucky to only give up 1 run. So I think it's been 4 or 5 outings in a row Kintzler gave up at least a run, so that's not good. And then coming in late in the game, we added Norwood to the roster, and he's been all right when called up. He was having a decent season for Iowa. He was kind of what they call the 26th man. They consider this a doubleheader, finishing off that first game. But he didn't have it. He gave up one or 2 earned runs, 3 hits. He did make an error, so 1 of the 2 runs given up were unearned. But his error was a big factor in that run. So it was a horrible day by the pen. I'm not going to be too over the moon. I wouldn't be surprised to see some roster moves. I know we're so close to September 1st, but we may need to just bring in a fresh arm now. Like Rosario has options. We could swap him out for a fresh arm in Iowa. You can always bring Rosario back up like in another 10 days. Kintzler, I'm wondering if we just make a decision to DFA him. You know, we got him in a trade. He's got a big option for next year. I don't think Cubs are going to want to do that anyway. And, you know, they have to, you know, how much more are they going to get out of him in the next month? He doesn't look like he's going to be one of the better 11, 12 pitchers to be on a playoff roster. So Cubs may make the move to DFA him. At least that's what I would do, and bring up some fresh arms now. Because all these days in a row are tough. What I like, though, we used a lot of our best arms yesterday, too, so they got the day off. It was kind of one of those days where Madden wanted to roll the dice, give guys off, you know, with the bats. You know, Murphy and Baez and Hayward off doesn't help. 2 other guys got to step up. Bryant's been rehabbing for Iowa. He's in his 3rd game. He's got a couple hits, no home runs yet, last I looked, in the 3 games. He's been scoring runs by drawing walks. One time he got on in an error. So that's always helpful, too. I mean, he's a guy that some guy hits a single every time, he's going to get to 3rd base if he's on first. 2, he runs the bases very well. He can score from first on a double. So sounds like his shoulder feels 100%. He's got a new swing, and most likely he'll be up on Saturday, and that could provide us another spark. But overall, the bat's been great. Pitching, the ERA was like at 1.74 for the starters in the last 13 games or 12 games. Went up a little bit, giving up 4 runs, but not the worst. The bullpen was disappointing, but we won't see guys pitching together a whole lot more. At least, you know, some of these games will happen when we get a bigger lead in the division. So, man, wanted to give a lot of guys a day off. We're still very much in a big stretch of 23 straight games. A couple more games until we have more resources September 1st with the 40-man call-up rule. Then we'll be at that halfway point. So it is going to be a grind. Cubs have some more competition coming up. Thursday they play Atlanta, 1 game. It's a rain out. Otherwise we would have had a day off. So that's tough competition. We got Montgomery coming back from the DL. So excited to see what he can do. He missed a couple starts. I want to say no, he missed 3 starts basically. Technically, he would have been pitching today, kind of shifted things. And so we'll see what he can do. And then we're, you know, getting close to getting Bryant back, too. So another great bat. The bat's been pretty good overall, especially since Murphy. This is the first game we lost since Murphy came back. We had a 7-game winning streak, but Murphy didn't play, so that didn't help. Go Cubs, go.